Hey, I'm back. I went and got married and now I'm here back home and I've got so much to share with you guys. It feels like so long since I made a video, which is true, and I'm sorry about that. The last few months have just been so hectic and I missed my September tour video. I can't believe it. But I did actually shoot it. I just ran out of time to then edit and upload it. But you'll see some footage from that in this episode. And welcome to what is now a double bill of my wedding tribute, my wedding series, whatever you want to call it. It's the finale. It's what I've been working towards all year, and you'll get to see my wedding flowers and what we did for the wedding venue decor. So it's a two-parter, and apologies, the footage is a little bit choppy because I had no idea how I was going to edit it as I was filming it. But in this episode today, you will see my plot in the middle of, towards the end of September. It was 2 weeks before the wedding and it was when I shot the tour, but I didn't actually share it with you guys. So you'll see a snippet of that. You'll also see a lot of the DIY things that I made using things from the allotment for the decor, and also my wedding favours as well, and also how I hand dyed some ribbons that were to tie my flower bouquets for the wedding, which I really enjoyed doing, and I can't wait to do more of that. So sit back, relax, I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you've got a nice hot drink, and make sure you're here for the next one, because that's going to be all about how we work together as a team to put all the flowers into place. You know, you'll see Bev make my bouquet, and you'll also see the flower arrangements at the venue, which were pretty epic. It was so much fun. Enjoy, and I'll see you soon. There's less than 2 weeks to go now until my wedding, so it's been a little bit chaotic at my end, which is why there's not been quite as many videos as there usually is. But I'm here to check the plot because we've had a lot of stormy weather lately, and I'm dying to see if the flowers have survived. We will also have a little tour of the plot, see what's going on, as it's now nearing the end of September. And yeah, just see what's going on here. Hey, oh, looks like they might be okay. Oh my gosh, but now I'm looking at the plot, I'm feeling a huge sense of relief because we've had some terrific storms over the last week. Looks like everything, well, it's a little bit wonky, but I mean, look at the dahlias. They're all good. And I'm so relieved. I think a lot of this is to do with the fact that I staked them really early on, and I put in a little bit of extra support here. And they're growing through the netting as well. And if I hadn't have done that, I think it would be an absolute disaster. But when we had those storms and it was night time, obviously the sun's setting a lot earlier now, our days are getting shorter, and the wind was really picking up, and I was thinking, I haven't been to the plot, I haven't checked on anything, and I brought my fiance out here in the pitch black, and we put up an extra defence, a little windbreak, which happened to be reduced to like £10, I think, because obviously it's the end of summer now, and just as an extra precaution, or just to give me a bit of peace of mind, if you like, because at that point I knew that I'd done everything I can, and if anything does die or blow over or snap, then, you know, I couldn't have prevented it any further. So the wind prevails in that direction, southwesterly, so I put this here just as a bit of extra protection. Might not have actually even been necessary, but I did it, and they're absolutely fine. Look at that. And won't be long now till I'm cutting all of these. And you know what, so my future mother-in-law, Bev, if you don't already know, she's a qualified trained florist. She's amazing, and so we are working together on this for the wedding, and I'm growing them, cutting them, and she is very kindly doing my bouquets and all the buttonholes as well. Me and my friend Holly and Bev will be throwing flowers at the venues to decorate. And we had a bit of a test run with Bev a few weeks ago. She came here and we tied some flowers, well, she did, should I say, and made me sort of like a trial bouquet, if you like. And oh my gosh, I bawled my eyes out. Because you know what, I see all the elements sort of growing in their different sections, and we'll have a wander in a minute after I've stopped rambling. You know, I see all the elements and I think, oh, that should work with that and that should look good with that. But until you see them all come together in a bouquet that's so amazingly arranged as she does it, you know, I couldn't quite picture how it was going to be. So yeah, it made me quite emotional just to see it all come together, and for, you know, Bev to be doing it. It's just so important to me, and for our, you know, new family that's getting larger. So yeah. I'm feeling quite emotional and full of love because I've just got back from my hen do. That was this weekend just gone, and we had an amazing time. I didn't know what we were doing the whole weekend, but we went on an alpaca walk, and I had my own alpaca, and he was gorgeous. He was called Money, and he loved to do little spins randomly. And yeah, we went on an 1.5 hour alpaca walk, and it was just magical, and I got to stop and feed them and have selfies with them. Loved it. Then we went on a spa break, and can you not tell by my gorgeous skin? I had a lovely facial and scalp massage and shoulder massage. So despite the wedding being so soon, I'm actually feeling pretty chill now, and at the point when pretty much all the planning's done, and what happens, things are going to go wrong, but that doesn't matter. I'm just going to enjoy it. And we are on track. The flowers looking great, but we do have another few days of really windy and wet weather, but we will see. Anyway, that's enough blabbing, isn't it? These straw flowers, I love the white ones. They just look like great big fried eggs. Especially when that centre is so big. Very cheerful. Oh, I'm going to really miss this when it's all go, when it all goes. The Kobe Scandens Alba. What an amazing flower. Yes, it took a long time to grow from seed, started in February, but it's an incredible annual climber, and this is the first time I've successfully grown it, and it's just amazing. Look at it. And those tendrils, also perfection. Do we want to go down there? It's a bit chaotic. Let's have a walk over some vintage bottles that I've been given, which I need to clean and maybe use for decor. Ooh. But yeah, down here we've got the amaranthus, which is starting to go over a little bit with the rain we've had. I noticed that the green one, oh no, it's not so bad. It was starting to go a little bit brown, but I'm sure there's still plenty of good stems in there. And then you've got the pink, and then the hot biscuits at the back. And the auroch has also started to go over. This was bright pink, so it's a bit of a shame, and the seeds are all starting to drop, but I have cut some and dried it at home. So I'll use those instead of those. So yeah, it's all part of the trial, you know, is not knowing exactly what's going to be ready in time and what will be finished and over. Now, if you've been following throughout the year about my pumpkin archway, you'll know that these pumpkins are so much larger than I anticipated they were going to be. And it was about August time and I decided to do a little something different with these and to make them into a feature as part of the wedding. And I'd heard about pumpkin scarring, where you score into your pumpkin when it's still growing. And I think I may have done it a little bit too late, but it still had the effect that I wanted to do. So I scored some words into my pumpkins with the intention of using these in place of like a wedding sign. You know how you sometimes get these, welcome to our wedding? Well, I decided rather than a sign, I was going to have pumpkins. So these are my 2 little pumpkins that I had as part of the decor, and they worked really well, and I just think they looked fab. But also as part of the decor, I used my chilies. These little potted chilies are the basket of fire, and these went into the outside sort of smoking area to brighten the place up, and I think A few people may have tried them, which was a little bit daring. I definitely didn't. Now, all throughout this year, I've been inspired to create my own plant dye using natural materials. And this inspiration has largely come from Rebecca Desnos on Instagram, who I follow, and I've now bought 2 of her zines and they are fantastic. And it's just amazing the amount of different colours you can get from plants and leaves and flowers that are basically all around you. So I was really inspired to give this a go. So I actually collected some hawthorn leaves from my tree on the allotment, as well as the berries and the twigs, to make my own plant dye that I would use to dye the ribbons for my wedding flowers. It was quite a simple process, but I did learn a lot, and I first dipped the material into a mixture of soy milk with water diluted, and this acts as like a protein to get the fibres ready for the dye so that they absorb it nice and evenly and that it's colour fast. So, you know, if I was to wash them, the dye isn't going to wash out. After it's soaked in there for a while, I also then started to make the actual dye. So I used, as I said, lots of hawthorn, a few onion skins as well, and then a couple of other leaves that were around, such as sycamore. And then I heated this up on really low and let it simmer for about an hour and a half, 2 hours. And then I let this completely sit as it is for, I think it was overnight, I think. Maybe a bit longer, I can't quite remember, until it made this incredible coloured dye. And I mean, I was so surprised at this colour when I found it in the pan. It was just like amber. And then once I dried off those soaked ribbons, I put them into my pot. This was the tester that I'd done before to see how it'd come out. And so I was quite happy. And then I also put in some silk, which I forgot that I bought earlier on in the year when I was first inspired. And I'd heard that different materials can take the dye in different ways, so it might produce a different colour. So we've got cotton in here and also silk, and it's important that you use a natural fibre, 100% natural. So I put them into the pot and then I left them whilst I went away for my hen do over the weekend. So 2 days later, upon my return, I was so keen to see how it turned out. And you can tell already that there are 2 very different colours in there. The cotton ribbons, much more pinkish looking than the silk, which is that one there, which is really, really vibrant. But I know that they're probably going to sort of change slightly as they dry. So, you know, I soaked them, rinsed them, and then left them out to dry, and this was the result. I mean, isn't that incredible? That gold is utterly amazing, and when it caught the light, it shone so, so bright. So that silk was my preferred colour. The cotton come out a little bit dusky pink, which isn't really the colour tone of the wedding flowers, but this golden silk, absolutely gorgeous. And, you know, that colour has come from mostly hawthorn, which I just couldn't quite believe, to be honest. When it come to the wedding favours, I knew I wanted to do something allotment inspired and pretty cheap. So I actually made 2 wedding favours, one of which was a seed mix using seeds from the allotment that I'd grown that year or were even part of my bouquet, such as that Breezer Maxima grass. Absolutely gorgeous. Also, I collected the seeds from the Nigella, which is also known as Love in a Mist, which I think is a really nice, sweet little connection. And do you remember my foxgloves, some of which were like 10 foot tall this year? Yep, a lot of those seeds also went into the mix. So it was a very Homegrown Garden-esque seed mix, and it was really fun to do, actually. Also, we had to throw in some of the honesty seeds. So we got a love, honesty, love in a mist, honesty, you know, it was very love inspired. So we put them into these lovely little personalised seed packets with a little list of what's in there and when to sow them. Now, it wouldn't be an allotment themed wedding without some jam. This was my second little wedding favour that went onto the table, and I used my blackberries because they're all throughout my hedgerow. Last year and this year was such a bumper crop of blackberries. Thank you, hedgerow. That I've always had some in the freezer. But this was a perfect way to use them up into a little gift that I can give to everybody for coming to the wedding. So that's where we're at right now, and at the minute I'm just frantically cleaning all of my flower buckets, all of the vases, making sure I've got all the decor props and things ready, making all my lists, and I'm almost ready now for the big cut. So I'm really hoping I get to bring you along with that and that it's not too chaotic that I can't, but I'm sure no matter what happens I will get some snippets for you, and I probably won't see you now until after the wedding. So it's the last time you'll see me as a miss, and yeah, I'm sorry I haven't put many videos out lately. It's just been quite the whirlwind. Do let me know how your garden is doing, or your allotment, your veg patch, or your window box, because whilst I am very busy, I do love to read every single comment that you leave me. And yeah, do subscribe, because if you don't, you might miss the video where you see the wedding flowers and everything that is involved with that I've been growing this year. So make sure you're subscribed, and if you do want to support my channel, there are some links below on how you can do that. Oh, I need a drink. I think it's time for a cup of tea. Need to water the polytunnel before I go home, and tonight we're buying lots of wine, and that's another thing ticked off the to-do list. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I will catch up with you after I'm married, but it might be filmed before I'm married. You'll see what I mean. But yeah, see you soon. Bye!